Good morning all. We'll start with Informatica Cloud demo today. I do have more than 10 years of IT industry experience, specifically into data warehousing, business intelligence, and cloud platforms. I'm working as a professional trainer for Informatica Power Center, Informatica Cloud, and other ETL technologies from last more than 4 years. I also hold Informatica Cloud's Lakehouse data management certification as well, which I completed. Today's agenda will talk about Informatica Cloud overview. Then we'll talk about what are the typical data management challenges when we try to integrate or pull data from multiple cloud platforms, and then how Informatica Cloud can be an effective solution over these data management challenges in the cloud. Then we'll talk about high-level architecture of Informatica Cloud. Then we'll discuss about what is the course curriculum and the timelines. We'll discuss about prerequisites of this course, what exactly we need if you want to enroll for this course. Then we'll talk about what are the certifications available. And finally, I can just log into Informatica Cloud interface and I can just walk you through some of the important aspects or important services. So starting with Informatica Cloud introduction. Informatica is one of the leading ETL tools in the market. ETL stands for extraction, transformation, and load. And then what we do is using this tool, we load data from various source systems. We transform the data accordingly, and then we load it into the final data warehouse, or we provide that data to upcoming workstreams or upcoming applications. Informatica Cloud specifically is it works as software as service. Right? It is data integration solution package. It is on-demand subscription platform. So what we need to do is we just log into Informatica Cloud using a browser, right? So we'll have to purchase a subscription for this Informatica Cloud, and then we'll log into Informatica Cloud on the browser. It is totally web-based, and then accordingly we can start exploring different services offered by Informatica Cloud. So unlike Informatica Power Center or any other on-premises ETL tool, right, where we will have to install that tool on our local machine or maybe on the server, right? Informatica Cloud is totally web-based, and we'll have to just log into the online account for Informatica Cloud with the credentials, and accordingly we can explore the services offered by Informatica Cloud. And then this Informatica Cloud offers connectivity across both on-cloud and on-premises applications. Informatica Cloud doesn't mean that we are only going to interact with the cloud sources. We'll also have the on-premises or legacy applications supported. For example, many people will wonder after moving to Informatica Cloud, am I going to lose the connectivity across my normal legacy applications or the on-premises applications like Oracle or SQL Server, MS Access or flat files? So the answer is no. We'll still have those legacy and on-premises applications accessed, and we'll have connectivity across these applications as well. In addition to that, we are going to have multiple cloud platforms and latest technologies which are cloud-based are going to be supported using Informatica Cloud. Moving on to the cloud data management challenges, right? So whenever we try to pull data from cloud applications or integrate data into the cloud applications, major issues which we face, right? Those are dealing with multiple cloud-based and on-premises applications. For example, if we have a particular use case, just take an example that we are trying to create a customer portal, right? And to have the customer portal fitted with the data, there are a lot of applications. So we are getting customer data from on-premises applications like Oracle or some flat files or SQL Server, right? And there are other cloud-based applications like Azure, AWS or Google Cloud. So if we do not have a particular ETL tool or a technique which provides connectivity across all these applications, cloud-based as well as on-premises based, in that case, we'll have to use multiple techniques or multiple ETL tools. And because of which what will happen, my systems are not connected with each other, and because of that my data will be in a fragmented manner, because using any particular ETL tool which only supports on-premises applications, I'll have my data pulled into a particular common area, and using other techniques or other ETL tools which provide support for cloud applications, right? Again, that will be a different tool, different subscription for that, and I may end up in having my data into multiple chunks. Right, my data is not into common landing layer, right, or common platform, and because of which my data is into a fragmented manner. And because of the data fragmentation, it will give rise to lot of data quality issues. I'll have a very big challenge about how I'm going to effectively handle my garbage in, garbage out scenarios, how I'm going to deduplicate my data, or how I'm going to deal with other data quality issues, right? So these would be like very challenging things for me. And because of this, what would happen is whole business process, right? That will be very insufficient, inefficient, and then the productivity of my business will be very low because my applications or my whole business process is not really optimized, and because of which the whole purpose of creating that particular customer portal for my end user, that will defeat, because I won't be able to have a golden copy of my customers fetched from multiple sources, right? And that will totally defeat my purpose of creating a new system. So these are typical cloud data management challenges which we face, right? When we have multiple cloud as well as on-premises systems. So now let's see how Informatica Cloud can be an effective solution over here. And when we say Informatica Cloud, right, it's not ICS, it is IICS, which is Informatica Intelligent Cloud Services, right? An year ago, Informatica Cloud went an bigger upgrade, and then a lot of features got added, lot of performance improvements were added to Informatica Cloud. And then we started calling this particular application or this program as Informatica Intelligent Cloud Services, which is IICS. So let's see how we can deal with these data management challenges using Informatica Intelligent Cloud Services. As discussed earlier, right? This Informatica Intelligent Cloud Services will provide you connectivity across all possible applications, whether those are on-premises or on-cloud. So the applications like Oracle, SQL Server, flat files, Teradata, which are like on-premises applications, will have support, will have multiple connectors available to connect to these legacy or on-premises applications. On the other hand, we will have connectivity across all possible cloud platforms right now in the market. So if we have AWS, Azure, or Google Cloud, right, or different type of web services, all of these applications are supported for the connectivity in Informatica Intelligent Cloud Services. So we do not have the connectivity issue, and because of which, right, I can land my data coming from various source systems into a preliminary layer of my data warehouse, and then according to my business requirement, I can transform that data and load it into my final product, right? So before I actually transform my data, there are a lot of quality improvements I need to do, right? So if I have any data duplicacy or data redundancy, right, or any flat file level challenges, right, in my data, so I can effectively get rid of those data quality issues. I can effectively handle my garbage in, garbage out scenarios, and all possible data quality issues can be fixed over here, because whole of my data coming from various systems is available in same area, because I do have connectivity across all possible applications offered by Informatica Intelligent Cloud Services, right? That's why I'll be able to handle these challenges very effectively, and then accordingly I can produce the customer portal. I can create that customer portal with the maximum accuracy of the data, and because of which my whole business process is really optimized and my end users are really happy. Moving to the architecture of Informatica Cloud, right? So this is high level architecture right now. So in Informatica Cloud architecture, we have 5 major aspects. First is IICS, which is the tool which we discussed, right? It is on-demand subscription platform, acts as software as service. We'll have to purchase a subscription for this, and then using the browser we can log into Informatica Cloud, and accordingly we can create our ETL logic or ETL objects. Second major aspect is the secure agent. So this secure agent can be compared as Informatica Power Center's integration service. Informatica Power Center's integration service, which connects to source and target applications, and accordingly it flows in the data into the ETL mappings which we have created. Similarly, this secure agent, right, will be connecting to source and target applications, and accordingly it will flow in the data. So basically, secure agent is lightweight installable tool, and this is the only application, right, which is of nearly 100 or 150 MB. This will be physically installed on our local laptops or on the servers. So if you are using local laptop for Informatica Cloud, then this secure agent will have to install on the local laptops. If we are talking about high-end projects or client projects, right, where we have servers and we are going to install whole our setup on either Windows or Linux server, in that case, we'll install this secure agent on Windows or Linux server. So this secure agent comes into two variants, Windows 64 and Linux. So according to our requirement, according to the server which we have, we'll download that kind of version and that can be installed on our specific server. Then third major aspect is the runtime environment. This runtime environment can be compared with Informatica Power Center's domain. So as we know that for each instance, right, whether it is a dev, QA, prod, will have a particular domain associated. So same job is carried out by runtime environment into Informatica Cloud. So for each instance, we'll have a separate runtime environment available, and each runtime environment will be associated with a secure agent. So if we have a dev, QA, and prod, these kind of instances, then each instance will have specific runtime environment, and each runtime environment will have its dedicated secure agent. So say for example, if we have dev and QA, two non-prod instances, we may have a single Informatica Cloud account which will provide me access or which will provide me connectivity across my dev and QA. And I might have another Informatica Cloud account for my production. So whenever I have a non-prod instance or non-prod account, right, for my Informatica Cloud, where I have dev and QA, my worry would be how I can make sure that while creating a particular mapping or executing a mapping or even to create a connection to my database or my flat file server, how I can make sure that I'm connecting to my specific instance, whether it is a dev or QA. In that case, this runtime environment will be able to help me. So runtime environment will tell me whether it is a dev or QA, and accordingly I can create my connection and execute that, or on top of that connection I can create mapping or any particular task, and then while running that task, runtime environment will be distinguishing factor into multiple instances like dev, QA, right? We may have even more. We may have like dev, QA, or any sandbox instance or UAT instance, right? So accordingly, we'll be able to distinguish between these multiple instances using the runtime environment. Then the fourth major aspect is Informatica Cloud's repository, right? So similar to Informatica Power Center repository, we have Informatica Cloud repository as well, right? Which is totally web-based, and then we will have all the metadata stored over here. So whatever mappings, different type of tasks or the task flows, right? We're going to create all type of ETL objects which we create in Informatica Cloud. All of those metadata will be stored in Informatica Cloud repository. Right? And finally, the last aspect is the connections. So these connections will be able to provide the connectivity across on-premises as well as on-cloud applications. So Informatica Cloud provides connectivity using these different type of connections, right? So using the legacy or on-premises applications will have a specific connector for each of them: Oracle, SQL Server, or flat file, Teradata, right? And then other cloud applications like AWS, Azure, or different type of web services like SOAP-based web service, REST-based web service will have different connectors available in Informatica Cloud. Availing those different type of connections will be able to connect to these source systems or target systems, and according to the requirement, we can pull data from these systems or populate data into these various systems. So now we'll talk about the course curriculum. So this Informatica Cloud course is of total 24 hours of duration, which will comprise total 18 modules. Right? So this course curriculum is designed in such a way that will focus on mainly the practical aspects, and then whenever it is required, we'll discuss about the theoretical points. So intention of this course is to provide you a smooth transition from Informatica Power Center world to Informatica Cloud world. So whatever it takes to transform your knowledge or your skill set from Informatica Power Center to Cloud, all those aspects will be addressed over here. And if any candidate is having very basic knowledge about ETL concepts, or even I would say like that particular candidate is having zero knowledge about the ETLs or data warehousing. This course is designed in such a way that we'll start from basics and then we'll take it to the advanced level. So we'll cover all the basics plus advanced topics. So this course is, as I said, designed in such a way that any candidate having like a particular experience. So I'll say like experience varying from 0 years to even 20 years. All of the candidates can go through this course, and this course curriculum will help them to meet their expectation. For example, if a particular person is having ample amount of experience in Informatica Power Center or any ETL tool, right? Maybe 5 years or almost 7 to 10 years of experience. That person knows what are the core concepts of ETL or any particular ETL tool. So for that person, the lookout will be how I can implement my ETL techniques or ETL logics into Informatica Cloud. What are the different aspects or what are the different objects I'll have to create, right? And what are the dependencies? So that will be lookout for an experienced ETL developer or ETL specialist. There could be few more candidates who are having like 0 to 2 or 3 years of experience, who are like newbie or totally freshers in data warehousing or ETL world. So they would be expecting how we can understand the ETL concepts and how we can start our career or how we can start our technical experience using this Informatica Cloud tool. And do we need any prerequisite? Like, do I need to understand what is Informatica Power Center? And then I need to switch to Informatica Cloud. So those would be the questions of the freshers or less experienced people, right? So the answer is no. This course is designed and formatted in such a way that we'll start with the basics and then we'll take it to the advanced level. Experience varying from 0 to almost 20 years. All the candidates will be able to follow this same course curriculum, and then accordingly they can master their skills in Informatica Cloud. Because I do have experience training candidates from 0 years to almost 20 plus years experience in the market. This course will have the basic and advanced topics of Informatica Cloud. In addition to that, we are going to have 3 dedicated modules for Salesforce. So if you look at module number 13, 14 and 15, right? These all are talking about Salesforce. Salesforce introduction, Salesforce basics and Salesforce tools. So why we need Salesforce over here? Because when I started my journey into cloud world, right, Informatica Cloud and other cloud technologies 4 to 5 years back, I realized that whenever we work on Informatica Cloud projects, Salesforce is widely used cloud application. So Salesforce is one of the leading online CRM applications, and it is like very user friendly. And a lot of projects are using Salesforce nowadays. According to the need, right, we decided that we'll have a basic knowledge about Salesforce discussed over this course itself, so that after completion of this course, if any person or any candidate is having that kind of requirement in upcoming project, and believe me, it will be like 70 to 80% of the scenarios, or there is a high chance for you to have Salesforce as either you're one of the source applications or your ultimate target as well, where you are managing your data. So in that case, you'll need a basic understanding about the Salesforce. I'm not saying that after completion of these 3 modules, you'll be a pro Salesforce developer. That is not the intention. The intention over here is I should be aware about the basic principles of Salesforce, and whenever I want to pull data from Salesforce or integrate data into the Salesforce, I should be able to handle that, and I should be aware about the core concepts or basic concepts of the Salesforce. And that is what we are going to cover in module number 13, 14 and 15. So this whole curriculum, right, if I start from top, will have the introduction, architecture, the connection creation, which are like very basic things. Then Informatica Cloud will also offer some unique features. For example, data replication concepts, data synchronization concepts, right? So these are like very unique concept and very powerful concepts in ETL world nowadays. If I give you a simple example of data replication, what it can do, let me give you a very simple scenario. For example, there are like 100 source tables in one of the Oracle database, and our job is to pull data from those 100 Oracle tables and populate into another Oracle instance having similar 100 tables. So what I'm trying to do is like I do have a source Oracle DB A and target Oracle DB B. I do have 100 tables across these databases, and then my job is to pull data from each individual table from source and populate that data into my target. These tables might have different structures, right? Different number of columns or different number of data volume. So if we are going to address this kind of a scenario in Informatica Power Center, right? Let's iterate the steps which we will take. So as per my experience, what we need to do is, first of all, we'll log into Informatica Power Center Designer. We'll have to import 100 source definitions, 100 target definitions. Then we'll have to create 100 shortcuts, right, in my mapping folder. Then I'll have to create 100 mappings, simple mappings. Just consider we do not have any business logic or transformation. We just need to pull data and populate into my target. I'll have to create those 100 individual transformations having just source and target transformations, right? On top of those 100 mappings, I'll have to create 100 sessions, because in the sessions I'm going to have my connections enabled, right? To source and target, I'll have those connections applied in the sessions. So those 100 sessions I'll create, and then probably I'll create a single workflow. In that workflow, I'll have those 100 sessions, and then I'll run that workflow and I'll get my data copied. So I know that this whole process is not having much technical aspects, or we don't have to use any business logic as such, right? But still it is a very laborious kind of exercise. And for a single developer, for example, a single person is trying to carry out whole this exercise, right? Definitely you would agree that it will take at least 4 to 5 days of his time. So this whole scenario, right? If I tell you that in Informatica Cloud using data replication concept, I can do the development of whole of this particular scenario in just 5 minutes, right? So that's the beauty of Informatica Cloud's data replication concept. What I need to do is, like, I don't have to import any source, any target definitions. I don't have to create 100 mappings, 100 sessions, a workflow, nothing. What I'll do is I'll simply create single data replication task in which I'll provide a connection of my source Oracle database A. After providing that connection, it will ask me to choose the tables. So if I have like 10 tables, 50 tables or 100 tables, I can just, select those tables using the checkboxes. In the target tab, I'll just mention my target Oracle database B connection. I'll save my replication task and I'll execute it, right? So on the fly, for first time, this replication task will create the 100 target tables as per the source table definitions. So I don't have to even create these tables. I don't have to take the DDLs of 100 tables, execute those DDLs into the target database and get those tables created. No, that's not a prerequisite, right? So this replication task will identify whether the target tables are already there. If not, then it will smartly assess the data structures or the table structures basically of those 100 source tables. Then those 100 source tables, according to them, the target 100 tables will be created. 100 target tables will be created, and then once the tables are created in the target database, we will pull the data from each individual table, and then that data will be populated into respective 100 target tables. Whole of this development process will not take more than 5 minutes. So rather than spending a whole week, 4 to 5 days of effort using an Informatica Power Center, we can use this data replication concept in Informatica Cloud, and you can save a lot of your development time. So using this Informatica Cloud, it's not only about the coding. We will focus on main logic development or the business logic we need to implement, rather than dealing with these prerequisites and development nuances. For example, importing the source definitions, importing the target definitions, creating the shortcuts, right? Whole of this effort we are discounting, and the time is going to be focused or utilized into actual logic development to implement the business concepts. So similarly, we have data replication, data synchronization, a lot of concepts in Informatica Cloud, which will be like very effective for us to address the requirements in the ETL world. Then we'll discuss about the Cloud Mapping Designer. So similar to Informatica Power Mapping Designer or Designer tool, we have Informatica Cloud Mapping Designer, where we'll be able to create the mappings, and then we'll have a different type of transformations. So if we compare the number of transformations across Informatica Power Center to Informatica Cloud, then let me tell you frankly that Informatica Cloud will offer you less amount of transformations or less number of transformations. But the basic transformations which we use in Informatica Power Center, all those are available in cloud as well, right? So there would be few transformations like update strategy, right, which is not there in Informatica Cloud, right? But we still know how we can deal with transformations, and we can still design the business logic. So the end point, right, would be whatever transformations and whatever business logic we used to perform, or which we used to design in Informatica Power Center, can be easily achieved in Informatica Cloud with the mapping designer and the different transformations. So in the module number 6 and 7, we are going to deep dive into the cloud mapping designer and different type of transformations. Right? So for an experienced CTL person or Informatica Power Center developer, that person doesn't need to know what is expression transformation or how I'm going to set the filter condition. But that person definitely need to know in Informatica Cloud what are the different options, or what are the different tabs across these options are available, right? To set up the filter condition, to set up SQL override query in my lookup and all, right? So for that purpose, we are going to revisit these transformations in detail, right? With demo for each of those mappings, right? And then we'll discuss about these different type of operations. So we'll have a separate mapping created for each transformation, and we'll have that mapping executed so that we'll get idea about data getting pulled from source and getting integrated to the targets. Then we'll discuss about the concepts like parameterization, partitioning and all. So in Informatica Cloud, if we compare the ETL objects, in Power Center we had mappings, sessions and workflows. In Informatica Cloud we have mappings, mapping tasks and the task. So sessions and mapping tasks are similar, and the workflows and task flows are similar on their individual hierarchy. And how we can create these task flows and all, that is something we are going to cover as a module number 10. We'll talk about the partition mechanism available in Informatica Cloud in module 11. Then we'll discuss about how we can automate or schedule jobs in Informatica Cloud, right? Then we already discussed about module number 13, 14, 15 about Salesforce. Then we'll move on to the very advanced concepts like hierarchical connectivity. So in hierarchical connectivity, we are going to discuss about how we can use XML or hierarchy builder, hierarchy parser transformations. So these transformations you might have used in Informatica Power Center, right, which we are going to revisit. And people who haven't worked on these, this will be a new chapter for them. So if you want to convert the tabular data or CSV flat file data into XML or JSON format, or if we are getting data into XML files or JSON files, how we are going to transform that data or convert that data into normal Oracle tabular data or CSV data, that is something we are going to discuss in the module number 6, which is hierarchical connectivity. So using Informatica Cloud hierarchy builder transformation, we can convert tabular or CSV data into XML or JSONs, and using hierarchy parser transformation, we can understand how we can convert XML JSON data into normal tabular data or CSV data. And these transformations are effectively used with the web services. So web services will expect data either into XML or JSON format. So to provide input to various web services, we'll have to use this hierarchy builder transformation. And then once we receive the response from the web services in again XML or JSON format, we'll have to use hierarchy parser transformation to transpose that data or transform that data and load it into the table or a flat file. And then module number 17 is web services. We are going to discuss in detail how we can invoke SOAP-based, REST-based web services using Informatica Cloud. So this will be like very effective exercise for us to understand what are the different type of web services, and we'll start with that very basic level. So I'll explain you how or what are the different web services, like what is SOAP type web service or what is RESTful web service, what are the ideology or what is the core concepts of this, right? And then using Informatica Cloud, how we can invoke them, what are the different objects which we need to create in Informatica Cloud to get these services, web services invoked. Finally, we will have advanced administration. So in this advanced administration, we'll talk about how we can deal with the admin level stuff. So for example, if we happen to work as Informatica Cloud admin on a particular day, so how we can address creation of user accounts, or how we can provide access, or maybe if we are setting some security standards, for example the password standards, right? After how many days the password will expire, or what is the character mix I need to decide. I can decide whether the minimum password length would be 8 characters, 10 characters, like that, right? And then in my password, in my ideal password, how many characters I need to have, how many digits I need to have. So those password standards I can set for different users, right? So these are all admin activities. In addition to that, how I'm going to migrate code from my dev instance to QA from production, right? So that import export will be addressed. Similarly, how we can create multiple groups or different type of roles. So, for example, if I'm creating a particular user in my Informatica Cloud account, then if that user is going to be just a developer or the support person or a deployer or another admin. So these different type of roles I can set using the administrator concepts. So according to the industry requirement, we have added this module as well. So anytime if you happen to work as an Informatica Cloud admin, then these concepts you should be aware about, right? And that's why this module is added, so that after completion of this course, you will be a pro Informatica Cloud developer, or I will say Informatica Cloud specialist after going through these all different type of modules. And then talking about the timelines, right? As I said, like this course will be of 24 hours. So if we go 1 hour per day, then definitely it will take 24 days. But this course is like totally customized, and we can have the flexible timings as per the candidate's requirement. For example, if a group of candidate needs to have this course daily 1 hour in weekdays, accordingly we can prepare their batch and we can have those candidates involved into that batch. If a particular person says that I want a dedicated batch and I just want to have these sessions on weekends, I can spend like 3 to 4 hours on Saturdays and Sundays, right? Then accordingly we can have a separate batch. And for each batch, right, you will be wondering like how many candidates will be there in a particular batch. So let me tell you, these batches are like very with very less number of candidates. We won't have more than like 5 to 6 candidates in a particular batch. Or maximum batches, we may have a single candidate or a couple of candidates, right? It depends upon the availability of trainer and the availability of the candidates. Accordingly, these batches can be enrolled, right? So we can discuss more whenever you have any doubts on this. And before you start or before you enroll for this course, we can have a conference call with MindMajix facilitator, the trainer, with me, and then the candidates. And according to the candidate requirement and timelines that person is expecting, we can have this course designed. If a particular candidate is in a hurry to complete the course because that person is going to address Informatica Cloud project very less time or in upcoming days, in that case we can also plan for kind of expedite kind of a course where we can spend couple of hours or even more time on a daily basis, and we can plan to complete this course in less amount of time. So that can be also done. The point is, the way we execute this course or way we are going to have the sessions of this course are totally flexible and customized. Moving on to the prerequisites, what we are going to require for this course, right? So all of these prerequisites, right, will be totally free of cost. You don't have to pay a single penny for that. So we are going to use Informatica Cloud trial account, which is available for 30 days, right? So that free account we are going to use over here, which doesn't require any licensing, any cost involved. So after 30 days of trial period, right, we will be wondering that how we are going to continue, and are we going to purchase license for that? So answer is no. After completion of this 30 days of trial period, we can create another email ID, and using that we can create another Informatica Cloud account, and using that we can still continue using the free services for free benefits. And let me assure you that using even the trial or free account in Informatica Cloud, all of the features which a licensed version can offer us would be there for us to explore, because Informatica wants us to explore all the features using the free trial account, and according to that we can go for a licensed version. Fortunately, in the trial account, all the features and all the services are open to use. So we'll use this Informatica Cloud free trial account for 30 days. Anyways, if we go 1 hour per day and we complete the course using or within 24 days, still this 30 days trial period will be sufficient. But in any case, right, if we go beyond that, or we want to practice Informatica Cloud beyond the course completion, we can create another Informatica Cloud account, and then whatever ETL mappings objects which we have created, those can be easily exported to the new account and you can still continue using them. The second thing is secure agent installation is required. So how we can install the secure agent on our local Windows laptop, that is something I'll be guiding you through. And again, like the secure agent downloading and installation doesn't require any cost, or you don't have to pay anything for that. And then how we can install this secure agent on Windows local laptops, that is something I'll be guiding you through the course. Then in addition to that, we need to have a local Oracle database setup in the local laptop which we're planning to use, right? Because for this whole course and for hands-on purpose, we need three major connections: one Oracle connection, one flat file connection, and one Salesforce connection, right? So for that matter, we will have to have Oracle installed, and if you do not have it, then I'll be providing you some quick links using which you can install Oracle local database setup in your laptop, and you can use it for day-to-day hands-on purpose. And after completion of each individual day, you'll have some lab exercise or some assignments to be completed, and then I'll be providing you those exercises or those assignments to you on a daily basis. And even to perform those assignments, you'll require some set of tables or data model, right? So whatever mappings I'm going to create over the sessions, or whatever data sets, data tables I'm going to use as a part of the hands-on practice, I'll give you those DDLs and DMLs so that you can create those tables and import the data, right? After completion of Oracle local database setup, you can have those tables and data associated in your computer, and then the data which I use, you'll be using same data for creating your mappings and tasks. Okay? And finally, we need Salesforce trial account or Salesforce free account, which is also available for 30 days, right? And we can use it for our module number 13, 14, and 15, where we are going to discuss about Salesforce topics. Finally, we'll talk about the certifications. Right now, Informatica vendor is offering Informatica Cloud Specialist certification, and I'll give you some high-level pointers about the certification. The certification exam will be of 90 minutes, where you will have 70 objective multiple choice questions. The passing for this certification exam will be 70%, and the price which you will have to bear for enroll for this certification will be $340. It is totally apart from what we carry out. We don't have any certification cost involved, or in the fees or whatever you're going to enroll, right? Whatever fees you're going to pay for this particular course for enrollment, that is apart from the certification price. So for certification, you'll have to go to Informatica Cloud site, and then you'll have to enroll for that particular certification. The support which we will provide for your certification would be the contents which are there in the exam certification site. So let me assure you that the modules which we have, like total 18 modules, we are covering most of the course or most of the topics which you will have to perform or which you will have to address into the certification exam. So in the actual course, I'll be guiding you through what are the different topics available for your certification exam and how we are covering those topics. Be assured that we'll provide you all the support and all the modules which are there in the certification exam will be covered in our course. So this is on the certification. If you have more questions, we can connect accordingly. Finally, we'll show you some interfaces about Informatica Cloud. So let me just go to the tool. As I said, like it is totally web-based. So whenever we create our Informatica Cloud free account, we'll get a URL and our credentials. Using them, we can log in. So this is my URL, and then I'll provide my username and password, and I'll hit on login, which will allow me to access Informatica Cloud Services. So these are the different services offered by Informatica Cloud. So right now I'll click on data integration. We can open these services into different tabs, right? So unlike Informatica Power Center, I don't have to open different tools, right? These services can be opened in different individual tabs, and we can play simultaneously with these services, right? So this is my Informatica Cloud free account, right? And in the data integration service, you will see a home page and kind of a dashboard kind of an interface where you will see how many runtimes we have, how many connections, what are the different recent assets which we have worked on, right? Using the home tab. In the new tab, it it will offer us to create different type of tasks like replication, synchronization, which we discussed. Then in the mapping task, we'll be able to create the mappings, maplets, task flows, different type of components can be created using data integration service. Right? Then in the explore menu, we can just check what are the different folders we have. Right? So in real-time Informatica Cloud client-specific account or license account will have multiple folders according to the different projects. So we can create individual project folders for each of our module or a project, and inside a particular project or a folder, we can have the subfolders created. Right? By default, we'll have this single folder available, which is the default folder. Right? But using these options, we can create different type of projects or folders. Okay? Then moving on to the administrator service, will have the organizational level details. And as I said, like Informatica Cloud free account will offer you, all type of services or all options, right? So in the real world or in your client specific projects, you might not have access to all of these tabs. But the free account offers you all the features, all the services, right? So you can explore all of these administrative features. So you can check your licensing thing, then you can create the connections, you can have the add-on connectors available, you can create the schedules for REST-based APIs, you can create the Swagger files and all. So we are going to touch base on all of these items. And finally, I'll show you last service, which is the monitor service. So using the monitor service, we can monitor the jobs which are right now in the running state or the jobs which we are completed or kicked off in the recent time. So using the monitor service, we can monitor these jobs. Right? So this is a quick overview of Informatica Cloud tool. So I hope you enjoyed this demo. For that, after seeing this demo video, I'll encourage you to get in touch with your MindMajix facilitator. That MindMajix facilitator will be able to answer your questions. And if you have any specific technical questions, then that MindMajix facilitator will also arrange a conference call with the trainer. You can talk to me and you can get your questions clarified on the course syllabus, on the duration, or if you are having any technical question, right, then we can arrange a conference call where I'll be involved and then I can address your questions. Right? Thank you so much.